Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. The risk disclaimer. Trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so what we do in this webinar is introduce you to Bookmap, define what it is, how to connect it, who uses it, how to get it, and then we'll jump into the live market. And we're going to look at some of the basic order flow and the phenomena that Bookmap uncovers. This is the unique advantage due to the visualization of the software. So we'll need to define what those elements are so you understand what they are, and then how to use it, how to read it. Okay. Now that said, we have an advanced order flow webinar, and that starts in half an hour. 11 a.m. Eastern time. And in that webinar, we go through the advanced order flow analysis. We're going to go through some of the basics today, but the advanced order flow webinar is really where you're going to start to learn and understand order flow, really what moves the market on a very like binary level on up to a monthly chart. Okay, it's all basically the same type of stuff. We're going to understand the market in terms of order flow. And Bookmap can do that because we can look at the order book historically, not just volume, but the order book. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. In that advanced webinar, that's part of the education that you get when you subscribe. Okay, you need to be a subscriber to get access to that. It also comes with an educational course. Okay, it's the same content that's in that course, but that you can access that at any time. But then the advanced order flow webinars go through the details in the live environment, and we start to anticipate where future price might go in that environment. Okay, so we're not a trading room. But we do read the order flow and start to understand where price might go based on our objective analysis. So you can start to integrate order flow into your trading. All right, let's jump into the website and go through some of the details. Okay, bookmap.com, scroll down a little bit. What is Bookmap? We are a software trading platform. We just have a unique way of visualizing the market. And that's our advantage compared to other platforms out there. Who uses Bookmap? Day traders, scalpers, swing traders, and quants. Okay, now we originally came from that quant environment and developed algos in the HFT environment to visualize where our orders were getting filled. The software we started to develop for that started to look really good for understanding the market in general. It's just want to mention though, it works on those very, very low time frames, sub-second levels, but it will also work on much higher time frame levels for the swing traders, even position traders. And I'll demonstrate that to you today. Okay, get an edge in the markets. You can read about some of the features here. We're going to go through many of them. And then connectivity. So this is important. We'll stop here and cover the different markets that Bookmap can connect to. Futures, US equities, and digital currencies. Okay, now there's some issues here for connectivity and data. Digital currency data is free. Okay, so no need for a subscription there from an outside source. But for futures and for US equities, you will need to provide the data. Okay, we do not. That's pretty typical. We are a software platform. Just like other platforms out there, you still need to connect data to them as well. Okay, we're not a data provider, we're not a broker, we're software. Now, let's look at the different ways of connecting to the futures and US equities. For equities, it's DX feed. Okay, that's how you connect, and you'll need to subscribe via Bookmap or through DX feed in order to get access to US equities. Then for futures markets, there's many different ways here to connect. Okay, with Rhythmic, CQG, Gain Capital, Transact, IQ Feed, Nanotick, and Cedro. And Cedro's for Brazilian markets. There's all those methods that connecting directly to the data provider. Now you can also see we have TTX Trader Pro, Ninja Trader, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. you can connect via the API of those 3 different platforms as well. We recommend, though, connecting directly to the data provider like Rhythmic or CQG. You'll just get a cleaner data. It will bypass another platform and go directly into the Bookmap platform. Okay, some testimonials here from other traders, and then we'll go scroll to the pricing and packages and go through the details here. You can subscribe yearly to Bookmap, and you can see the pricing here, or you can subscribe monthly if you click on this link. And then you can see the different versions. Now there's a distinction between 2 digital versions and 2 global versions. Now the digital versions here are for digital currencies only. Okay? The global versions are for all the markets. All right, so let's go over the digital free version over here. It offers free connectivity to the data. You get access to a live market, but only with 1 digital currency at a time. And if you're an equities trader, well, you can get a delayed US equities feed into this version as well. If you're a futures trader, you can replay files that come with the download. Okay, and that's the only way that you can access futures data. Now, if you want the live US equities and futures data, then I would just recommend trying Bookmap Global over here for a month. Okay, it's 49 bucks. Try it out, see if it's for you. If not, then that's it. At least you gave it a try for a month and see what it's all about. Now, that's the free version. The Digital Plus version, what this offers here is a connectivity to several different digital currencies exchanges. You can trade right from the Bookmap chart into a GDAX or BitMEX account. You can record and replay that data, and you get multiple instruments, not just 1. You get 20 per exchange. You also get the advanced education. Okay, once you subscribe, you start getting the advanced education and full support. Okay, now the global version, the big distinction leap between digital and global. It's basically the same as Digital Plus, but it allows the connectivity to the futures and the US equities market. Now the Global Plus version, it includes everything in addition to our proprietary add-on indicators. Okay, one is the ability to trade right from the Bookmap chart into a funded account. Right, that's a really big advantage because you have the liquidity heat map, so you can really start to optimize your trading and front run high liquidity for a higher probability of a fill, or hide your stops behind high liquidity. Then you can see our large lot tracker here. This is a proprietary indicator we put together that looks at very specific phenomena in the order book. Larger players is what we're identifying. Our algo can see them, and we can point that out. So you can understand who's holding the majority of liquidity at certain levels. That's important information. Imbalance indicators for the book and for volume. Iceberg tracker, again, larger players, identifying them that are using iceberg or hidden orders. They don't want to show their levels of liquidity. And we also have a correlation tracker, and we can add different markets right onto the Bookmap chart. All right, scroll down a little bit more and let's go over some resources here. Our blog here, you can read some of the featured posts, or you can click on the link up here to the blog. Go to our Twitter page here, and you could follow us on Twitter at bookmap_pro. All sorts of good information here every day. And then our YouTube channel here, let's just go through some of the basics on the home page here. Okay, some intro videos here. There's a playlist. So you can get familiar with what Bookmap is. Some of the features and components are listed here as well, so you can go through those. Some selected webinars, but the order flow video snippets, I think you'll find these the most helpful. Very short videos, just a few minutes long, that go through the concepts or the phenomena in the market that Bookmap can visualize. And this is where the rubber is really going to meet the road, and you're going to be able to understand the advantages that Bookmap's giving you due to its visualization. All right, let's jump into the Bookmap chart and see what's going on, and go through some of the basic order flow. All right, So we're going to look at the NASDAQ E-mini here, and a nice breakdown here as we continue to move just below the swing low, a swing low at 74 or 75.40 or so. Here it is. Here's the breakdown, and right into high liquidity here. Okay, so the higher liquidity down below here at 75.35. Now, what am I talking about? I'm pointing to this heat map here, these orange bars or lines. Let's define what these elements are. Okay, so there's 3 elements on this Bookmap chart, and that's all there is. I've kind of narrowed it down here. I've taken all the add-on indicators off. So we're going to define these very simple 3 elements here and show you that they are extremely simple and very, very objective. Okay, these aren't derivatives of time, price, or volume. It's just the condition of the market. The 3 elements on this chart are historical and current best bid and offer. Okay, we're not showing bars. We're showing just best bid and offer over time. We're also showing these dots here, which are the transactions that took place on the best bid and offer. Okay, that's the volume, the transactions. And the third element is the heat map. Okay, now the heat map, the scale for the heat map is up here. Okay, red, orange on the right-hand side, then yellow, then white, then blue. Highest areas of liquidity are this kind of red-orange area here. Okay, here's red right here. You can see they just jumped in with very, very high liquidity, like 130 contracts. Look at the effect it had on price right there. Okay, and they pulled liquidity up here. Anyway, let's define this heat map. So, because that's probably the hardest to understand or most unfamiliar to people new to Bookmap. Okay, and seen some great stuff here already. Okay, so let's see if we can get back up above that 75.40 area and accept back into the range here. So this breakdown is going to reject and come back up into the range. And it looks pretty good so far, but we need to see follow through here on the buy side. And we're starting to get it. You can see it. Anyway, the heat map. All right, so the dome. Any of you who are familiar with the dome? Well, then you're going to like using Bookmap here because it's really going to visualize it for you instead of tax you with a lot of numeric values. So what are we looking at this heat map? What is it? Let's define the current and historical market with this white line right here. Everything to the left is historical. This is what just took place. And we can zoom out and see what took place even much further back. And then the current market is right here. Okay, this dashed red line is the best ask. The green is the best bid. This number here is the last traded volume. And then you see the price ladder here. Okay, and then we're just going to cover one column here, and this is the COB column. Okay, it stands for current order book. This is your dome. These numeric values that you see on the price ladder, this is liquidity. Above current price, these are limit orders to sell above current price. And you can see with the bars as well and the numeric values, high liquidity is painted here in this current market window. When these numbers change, the heat map changes. Okay, they just pulled liquidity here. Okay, they just added it up here and then they just pulled it. Okay, and then that's the sellers. Okay, the buyers, they're down below here, and most of them, the majority of them are kind of down around this 42 area, and they're kind of pulling, and the other areas down here around this 75.40. Okay, 47 contracts down here, 75.40 and a quarter. All right, so big deal. What does that mean? Well, now you're starting to look at the auction. Okay, the dome. Those of you who know the dome understand the auction and what's going on and how important it is to price. So a lot of traders, though, that use the dome, they'll say that it's a lot of fake liquidity, and they don't have to pay attention to a lot of it. And I would really beg to differ on that. We can make a distinction here between what is real liquidity or what I should define it this way, not by what's real and what's fake. Well, what has the intent to trade and what doesn't? That's the precise way to define it. Okay, so for example, look at this guy who just came in here with high liquidity, and it is affecting price. As you can see, high supply just came in here, right? We just saw it jump in right here at this area, and then they just jumped in a little bit here and they just pulled. Okay, so a little bit of volatility today, back and forth. We've seen it also yesterday, and bouncing off of our 75.40 area. So interesting stuff. Well, let's using that dome and trying to remember all of these numbers can be difficult. Okay, where Bookmap makes that easier for you is we just turn those numeric values into a graphical representation in the heat map. Okay, and you'll see it's reflecting it every moment here. Now, what's the interesting part though, and what just makes the distinction between us and others is we record it and place it on the chart historically. Okay, so look at there's 60 contracts here and they popped in here at this 41.5 area and they're still here with 71 contracts. Now we can start to zoom out too and not only look at the current state of the auction, but we can zoom out and look at the historical state. Okay, why are we starting to bounce down here? Look at all this high liquidity that's been in here for a long time. We can even zoom out more. How long were they in here? Well, let's zoom out. And let's just zoom out to the whole cash session here. All right, so here's what happened at the 9:30 open. Okay, right off to the upside. High liquidity here, but the buyers trade right through it. Okay, where do we return back down to? Okay, we went back and forth up here, and then return back down to this area here where we just broke from, and the buyers stepped in at the open. This is pretty typical. We anticipate there to be more buyers down here. Okay, that's the usual scenario. There should be buyers down here to buy at this level. It's at a discount. Okay, and that's why we see high liquidity here. And look at they've been in the book here for a while, and look at the transactions that took place into these areas here. Okay, let's zoom in, and we're going to make that distinction between liquidity that has the intent to trade and that liquidity that doesn't. Look at this beautiful book sweep here. Someone just came in and swept the book. They took all the liquidity from one level, the next level again, and right into high liquidity here. Okay, how much liquidity? Well, 56 contracts here, 53 down here, and 42 in between, and another 43 down here. Okay, look at all the selling dots here. Okay, these are aggressive market sell orders. Okay, they're taking liquidity from the bid, and they're trading through that whole area. Okay, did they have the intent to trade? Absolutely. This area here traded. Okay, that's what it looks like. We made the distinction between that liquidity that has the intent and then the liquidity that does not have the intent is like this example here. Okay, liquidity is here and then they start pulling, okay, and it turns dark. All right, so they didn't have the intent to trade. This player here did not have the intent to trade. This player didn't either. Okay, we don't find enough aggressive sellers to come down to 35 here, at least yet. All right, so anyway, making that distinction and understanding the relationship between limit orders and the aggressor. Okay? This is really the big picture of, or entire picture of what's going on in the market. All right, so now I spent quite a bit of time here just talking about the heat map. Okay, we haven't talked about anything regarding volume or best bid and offer. Let's just go over that then. So if we go back to the current market here. Now, most of us are used to, and I'm going to put this onto the chart here, a candlestick chart. We're used to looking at that, okay? 5-minute candlestick chart, for example. Right? Now, in between 5 minutes of data here, all you're getting with the candlestick chart is open, high, low, and close. Only 4 data points. Look at all the data that happened or occurred here, and look at the insight that we're getting. Okay? Well, we know that buyers came in. They stayed in the market here with their limit orders. They traded. Okay, it actually, there were still more sellers. They actually traded through that area, but they were absorbing it on the way through those areas. Okay, so the buyers are meeting the sellers here. We kind of ran out of selling pressure, and buyers stepped in and moved it right back up. Okay? And we can start to understand now that what between these two periods, or candlestick periods here, this 5-minute period, let's zoom into it. Okay, now we're starting to understand really what occurred here very precisely. Okay, we can start to see that, wow, all right, there was a lot of transactions, but a lot of larger players and limit orders. Okay, and we trade into this high area down here, and sellers try to reach down to this kind of 32.25, but just they don't reach it. The buyers step in here, and then to start to take control of this market. All right, so anyway, understanding the heat map, there's no question about it. You don't get that on a candlestick chart. Okay, what's happening outside of the transactions is simply not available. Now, in terms of volume, though, what's happening in this period here, we can see a few different things. We can see microstructure and precisely where the volume traded in these microstructures. Okay, let's define microstructure because it leads to bigger moves, and you'll see it again and again. You'll see it in the candlestick charts as well. Structural elements like head and shoulders, double bottoms, etc. Here's a consolidation period that was broken, okay, with that book sweep that we identified earlier. Okay, and then look what it did. It kind of consolidated here for a while, okay, and then it broke again here, and again and again. But this little area here that broke down, okay, well, it came back up into this structural area here, and it broke the high here, okay, right here. And look where it retested back to, right to where that swing is. Okay, and then we kind of go back and forth a little bit, but we find more buyers again up in these areas here, and they continue to lift the offer. Okay, so understanding these microstructural, and this isn't really microstructure, we can really zoom in here and we can really look at microstructure. In fact, let's define these elements here in Bookmap, the other two elements. We've defined the heat map, but let's define the best bid and offer here. Red line is the best offer, the green line is the best ask. That's it. It's very, very simple and straightforward, but it's showing every single event, the spreads that took place, where it was offering, where it was bidding, and then we can see the aggressor here, okay, and how they're lifting the offer and moving price. And you can see another book sweep here, a little bit of latency in data here, as you can see, between spread data, or I'm sorry, quotes data and trade data. And what occurred? Well, buyers came in, they swept all these levels, and it moved price up, about a point. And then we just kind of go sideways here. So the green dots are where transactions take place between the market buy orders and the limit orders there on the best offer. So a green dot paints to show you and display the aggressor, okay, the market buy orders here. The red dots are the opposite, they're sell orders. Now, if you want the specific data, you can use the data tip tool and look at them here. Right, 21 contracts is this the fourth line of text there. We get the very precise time and date, what was on the offer or bid in this case, and then the volume, 21, right? Now let's continue to zoom in here and we'll see if this is one transaction or several. It looks like it's actually one, okay. Well, we'll zoom into another area. Let's zoom into this area here and take a look. That was actually one as well. Okay, so some larger transactions taking place there. Maybe find another example, because I want to show you that we visually aggregate this data, but it's very precisely recorded here, okay? Down to, we can go into this area here. These are one each. Boy, these are not good examples. Let's find a better one here. This is a better one here. Okay, so see this dot here, 33, right? Well, what really happened here as we zoom in is there were several transactions that took place, okay? Look at all of them. We've broken it all down. This is precisely what traded, okay? This is how the market unfolded. Every single market event here is being defined. Look at how when the transaction takes place, less liquidity is available, etc. Okay, so this is, this a trader that with the limit orders on the offer absolutely had the intent to trade. They stayed in the book, and the buyers were taking their liquidity. Anyway, those are the three elements altogether now. Okay, so we have the heat map where they're bidding and offering. We have the best bid and offer, and then we have the volume very precisely recorded here. Okay, and what this gives us is that complete picture. It says now, let's get rid of our drawings. We can look at structural elements, okay? And you're going to see all sorts of structural elements. Okay, like this is 3 hits to the bottom, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, and then a reversal pattern. Why does this reversal pattern exist? Okay, we're all trained about reversal patterns or consolidation patterns, etc. But we're going to understand it, and we're truly going to get to the meaning here of why these exist. Okay, well, this is what really occurred here. Sellers, they hit the bid here. Okay, then we actually see both kind of buyers and sellers. Okay, so we're already starting to see buying interest here. And look at the selling down here. There's not a whole lot, right? But they sweep the book again, and one more time, okay, it comes back up into this little structural element here. It fails, and then we get one more sweep down low, okay? But then what happens is the buyers step in here very aggressively. Look at this. Okay? We can make the dots bigger just to show this kind of relationship here. Here they are, okay? They're coming in. And then lifting that offer very, very quickly away from this this bottom. Okay, all of these guys are going to be trapped down here. Where's our rectangle? Okay, or even better yet would probably be down below here. Okay, so let's look at that, because this really shows it quite nicely. So they moved above the swing right here. Okay, the buyers came in. Okay, here they are. Moved it away rather quickly, right? But look at the offer and the bid now too. Okay, because we're getting a complete picture of this 3 hits to the bottom here. Well, here they are on the offer, and what was their activity? They pulled. We see the aggressors come in. The buyers are very interested down here, and they're pulling it away very, very quickly. These guys get out of the way. They're not really interested in trading. You can see their activity. And what do we get instead? Look at the aggressiveness here on the bid. Very high liquidity here. Okay, so 126 contracts all of a sudden pops in at a higher area. And where is that higher area? Funnily enough, it's right here where it kind of dropped below the swing. Okay, so they're putting a cap on this. And they want to be a buyer. It looks like a deal down here if price comes back down. Okay? And what we're getting then is a new evaluation of what this instrument is worth at this time. Okay? And that completes that pattern. Right? So anyway, just going through some of the basics in the order flow, a lot of the times, well, most of the time we spend in the advanced order flow webinar looking at the current market, but just need to define some of these elements for you guys, understand what Bookmap is showing you, and then understanding once you start to see some of these things occur in the live market, just like this down here, okay, just like this little area right in here, then you can start to anticipate the future price movement once you start to understand the order flow. Okay, you're looking for at least a test up to here, at least, right? And if you see more volume up here, you're going to see continuation. Okay, now here and here, it doesn't really look all that strong, right? So maybe go sideways for a bit, and we do. Okay, we're looking for that distinction though in that volume, and where they really start to step in. It's just not the strongest move. It's actually in this little area here where we do see the cluster of volume, and then we actually get the retest right to it. In fact, okay? So that understanding this relationship between the limit orders and the aggressor and the structure and we're getting a pullback here right to this high volume node cluster in this little little area right here. Okay, and it accepts above it. Anyway, we don't see not too much volume to really give. Most of the volume was in this area here, and then it kind of went back and forth here. But usually see really big distinction in that aggressor. All right, well, that wraps it up here. Let's call it a day and move on to the advanced order flow webinar if you guys are subscribers. Else we'll meet you again here tomorrow. Okay, all right, thanks guys, take care.